Attention! It is time to change the channel. Live from Philadelphia, it's Mr. Pritchard's Art Room. Hey, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to Mr. Pritchard's Art Room. I'm your host, Mr. Pritchard, and I hope everybody is safe and well out there. And we have so much to do today. We're going to talk about some art, and then we're going to make some art. We're going to have some fun today. You all ready to get started? Let's get started.
What was that? Am I being replaced?
Sorry about that, everybody. I'm the real Mr. Pritchard.
What? You're not the real Mr. Pritchard. I'm the real Mr. Pritchard. Where did that puppet come from? Does anybody know? I hope it doesn't come back. I will say this, that puppet was onto something. We do have a lot of work to do today. Well, we are going to be talking about art used as propaganda. We're going to break down the definition of that word, and we're going to look at some older uses of art as propaganda, such as during the war, such as voting rights, and some newer uses too, such as during COVID-19, when art is used as propaganda, mostly on posters. And then we're going to start looking at artists doing something very similar, using their art as a powerful message, similar to propaganda. And what I mean by that is you'll notice that a lot of the artwork is not only visual arts, yet has written words on it too. The artwork gets you thinking. Got a lot to do today, and I hope that puppet's ready. Are you ready, puppet? Puppet, Mr. Pritchard, are you ready?
I am ready, Mr. Pritchard.
Let's get started. Can someone fast forward? Thank you. There we go. Propaganda, the spreading of ideas, information, or rumor for the purpose of helping or injuring an institution, a cause, or a person. Ideas, facts, or allegations spread deliberately to further one's cause or to damage an opposing cause. We're going to start off by looking at mostly older posters using art as propaganda, and then some newer. We lost Pritchard. Hello? What happened? We're back. Here's our first one. This is Uncle Sam, patriotic person wearing a top hat with stars. This was used, almost 100 years ago in the war, and it says, "I want you for the U.S. Army, nearest recruiting station." It's to instill this feeling of wanting to go into service. Here's one for working. It says, "Keep punching." Getting that time clock. Punching the time clock was like punching Hitler. Another one talking about buying war bonds to keep children safe at home from the Nazis, to support the war. Here is one talking about not talking about what's going on if you're in the military, because you might be talking to a spy nearby. So it's all about not talking. Like if they got the snake and you're afraid to talk because it's more dangerous than a snake, and then the person with the spy next to them. Here's another one for buy war bonds. It says keep us flying with the pilot, so you're supporting. And another one next to it says united we win, with two individuals, one African American, one white American, working together, which says a lot at the time what was going on in the 1940s in America. We move into more things dealing with sickness. One's talking about wearing a mask to not bring the virus into your community. Another one is giving some suggestions on how to help. Not even suggestions, rules. Here's two more about doing our part with buying bonds, and another one that says one man, one vote. And it's showing an Afro-American man. That one's from about 1960s, late 50s, we'll say. Here is Rosie the Riveter saying, "We can do it," with her sleeve rolled up, giving a muscle. And that was during the time when women were working mostly in the factories. You have Beyonce copying the pose, and several other individuals, including a person in a wheelchair. Here's some more dealing with disease, particularly COVID. Help those on the front lines stay in, stop the spread. Stay inside, victory begins at home. And here's our last one, dealing with the Spanish Civil War and the Picasso painting, from that same time, and it says help Spain.
Hey, I thought you said we were going to talk about some new artists too. I'm ready for the modern artist now. Let's move on.
Have some patience, Puppet Mr. Pritchard. We're getting there right now. Let's move on to the more modern artist. Now, a couple artists in our last group were modern, particularly the ones dealing with COVID-19, because that's happening right now. Yet this next group is all modern. Maybe 50 years old and way newer, maybe some stuff from last year, this year. We have a lot of artists in this group. Some of the artists are transgender. Some of the artists are gay. A lot of different cultures represented. Every artist is speaking out for change. And one of the things I wanted to point out, just like the posters from the last group, most of the artists put words, written words, and visual arts together to make a statement. Let's get started. This is the artist David Hammonds. This is the oldest art examples from our group. Here is David Hammonds redoing the American flag in Afrocentric colors. Interesting art. A lot of times it's almost like fingerprint versions of individuals. Here is another piece from David Hammonds. This is Jesse Jackson, made to look completely different with blonde hair, blue eyes, and paler skin. And underneath it, it says, "How you like me now?" with the question mark. This is Barbara Kruger. Her artwork deals a lot with photographs and words on red cherry and white type, similar to what Supreme did years later. This one says, "Your body is a battleground." Here's one, it looks like the New York Magazine with the logo loser on it. And another one with a hand pinching a design that says, "I shop, therefore I am." Makes you think. Here's another one with two children, one pointing at the bicep of another one flexing, and it says, "We don't need another hero." Oh, I bet Puppet Mr. Pritchard likes these two.
Love it.
Two images of puppets. The first puppet says, "When I hear the word culture, I take out my checkbook." The other puppet is holding a card for hypnotize, and it says, "Repeat after me." What do you think, Puppet Mr. Pritchard?
Oh, it's great. Great.
Here is the artist Tachti. On the left, the art piece says, "Stop calling me Hispanic." Very bright, bold colors being used also. These two pieces are speaking out for native rights. On the left, speaking out for native rights in Mexico, I believe that piece was sold for charity to help bring water to the town. On the right, speaking out for a native fighting in Central America to keep the rainforest safe. Here is a piece, and it's about equal pay. And it's got a slogan on it too that says, "No turfs, racists, misogynists, and homophobes." And it says, "Support women artists." This is Julio Salgento. More of a illustration kind of design to the artwork. Same bold colors. Here's a portrait of himself on the left. It says, "Illegally," and I blanked it out, "since 1995. He had a derogatory slang in there for a gay man. Now, he is a gay man, and I wonder why he used that term in his artwork. Maybe he's trying to show people that that term, he's bigger than that term? I'm not sure. What are you thinking? Here's one that says, "My parents are courageous, responsible, that's why I'm here." And the other one says, "Out of the closet, out of the shadows, into the streets. No LGBTQ exclusions." This is the artist James Hallahan, visual artist and a writer. I do like the self-portrait on the right. It's all mixed up like a collage. Here is some art done in neon. First one on top says, "Jim Crow, hell no." The one on the bottom says, "Not whites only." Very interesting designs using neon lights. This is the artist Hal Hefner. Hal Hefner, great stuff. Here's some stuff on social media. It's got the Twitter logo. It looks like Donald Trump's face, and it says consume. And then instead of Facebook, it says face hate. Here are two. One says no GMO, and it's talking about genetic modified cookies instead. And then we have the Colonel from KFC, and it says consume, and he's kind of zombified. Here are some speaking out about, I would say, Apple products, and they say, I consume, and they have those bright, bold colors like the Apple ads have. Here's one that says, consume, 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 and it says, thoughts and prayers are empty promises. And it has a few weapons in there, almost like in the shape of a cross. What are your thoughts? I think the artist wants to get rid of guns and keep everyone safe, and not just have thoughts and prayers about it, yet get rid of them permanently with law. Here is our last ones that say, this is your God, and it's got George Washington kind of like a zombie, and then this is our God, consume. Now, a couple pieces from how I had to edit some of them because some of them had things that are inappropriate for the classroom, yet pretty powerful pieces of artwork. Here's the artist Kate DeCiccio. It's on the top left, actually looks like working on a mural. On the bottom right is a mural with the person that is in the mural next to it. Here are some pieces of artwork. It says, we, the future, are creating disability justice. Next one says, love, listen, and learn. The following one says, we, the future, write our own liberation. Powerful pieces of artwork showing different people and religions also. Here's one that says, from Flint to the Navajo Nation, domestic terrorism, talking about the water supply. The last one on this group says, defenders of truth, science is our future. I wonder what they're talking about there. This is the artist Gabrielle Alman. In the middle, she's speaking out to keep women safe. It says, no more stolen sisters. On the right is an image of a person farming, and it says, needs brown labor, rejects brown neighbors. Very powerful artwork. Bright, bold colors also. Our next artist is Shepard Fairey. Very popular artist. Most people know Shepard Fairey from the Barack Obama artwork. Speaks out on a lot of issues. On the left, we have a print that says, make art, not war. Also has the Obey logo in there, which some individuals might know of. Here are some more artwork. It says, we the people defend dignity. We the people are greater than fear. We the people protect each other. With 3 different individuals in the prints. Mostly red cherry, blue blueberry. Here are 2 more parts. We are human, immigration reform now, stop the raids, and a similar piece on the right. We are human again with the person seems to be at a protest, immigration reform now. We are resilient. Have been here before. The Black Hills are not for sale. Speaking out for Native Americans. Couple more Shepard Fairey prints here. These ones have a lot going on with them, almost more collage-like. Yet I imagine that they're mostly done on the computer. Yet I'm not too sure. The one on the bottom right says, injustice anywhere threatens justice everywhere. Couple more. This one says power and equality, push forward and hope for Jafar. This is the artist, Shari Dumra. Became very famous for her portrait of George Floyd on the right here. A little bit of a floral pattern, and again, very bright, bold colors. End police violence in Nigeria. Stop Asian hate. Illustration quality to them too, similar to Julio Sargento's art. Protect Jerusalem, support our troops. The little protest signs on the Protect Jerusalem print saying Palestine will remain, no more ethnic cleansing. For the support of troops, it's got medical staff. Support one another. Self-care is community care. Kind of interesting, because instead of just watering the plants, like helping each other to grow. This is the artist Vienna Rai. Portrait on the right. On the opposite side, it says support non-binary artist of color. It's got a green mint background with that black bold licorice type. On the left, we have an image of like a computer failing. It says system disk. And it says, if not accessible to the poor, it is neither radical nor revolutionary. On the right, it's got some trains and it says public transit should be free for everyone. Some more artwork from Rihanna Ray. It uses a lot of type, almost has that similar feel of the posters to the original art we saw before with a lot of writing and image. The future will be accessible with an individual in a wheelchair. Disability does not define us. Flint hasn't had clean water in 5 years, going back again to the dirty water with lead in it from Flint, Michigan that we spoke about earlier. Here's our last print from her. It's got a quote on it, and it says, "We won't fight another rich man's war," and then a quote above it. This is the artist Emulsify. Portrait on the right, no, on the left is a piece of artwork. I am valid as I am. Support all undocumented youth. And then the next print says, free them all, advocate for better health care for detained migrants, abolish borders, abolish prisons, it says too. Also talks about ICE Kills, the organization that goes after immigrants. Here's one talking about the history of Stonewall is trans, and it is for an event that's happening. On the other side is the artist Lauren Bourgeon, who spoke out for immigration and transgender rights. I believe in my power, I believe in your power, I believe in our power, I believe in black trans power. And then the other one, on the opposite side, the opposite print says, support and protect survivors, always in all ways. Community is home with 3 individuals in the print, and then the print on the opposite side says, don't give up, keep trying. That's a powerful piece. Here's our last 2. Dr. Arias Beverly Pozzo, first African American to receive a PhD in psychology in 1933. And on the right, the founder of the Me Too movement. I see you, I hear you, I understand you, and I'm here for you. Now, what do you think about all the art we talked about today, all the examples? Did you have a favorite? Why was it your favorite? Well, let's start moving into what we're going to be making for our art. We're going to be doing something similar to the idea of propaganda that we talked about and artists using art to speak out and make a powerful statement. We're going to be using not only visual art, yet written word. And if you want, you can also use Braille. You ready to get started? Let's move on.